Nicholas, I am so delighted that you could join us today, or join me today. It's just you and me. There's nobody else here. So what tips do you have that are along those lines as I'm building out the Bookkeeping Accelerator? What are some things that you have like noticed or streamlined, or, seems like you're the efficiency and data guy. So, what types of things have you, developed or seen that would help our bookkeepers be better?
There's only two things that come to mind, and it's not to waste your time. Is one is, keep your mouth shut, integrity. Most of the time when data gets hacked or lost or stolen, it's because, quote, I decided to take my notebook home, and work from home.
Oh,
So be very conscious of that. Anymore
interesting.
today, fraud usually requires an inside-outside person, somebody on the inside facilitating a person on the outside from hacking in. We're pretty good about firewalls and keeping things up, password, double authentication, and that works well. So typically when you're prone to fraud, it's because you have a partner on the inside. But the other one that I would say bookkeepers slip up on the most is, and also in the world of software developers, they're horrible about taking test data and taking that stuff home to work on, and they don't have the same security levels there. So
Yeah.
I would say the only tip I would add, even especially today, is be more cautious of fraud. Keep your mouth shut.
I think you bring up a really excellent point, because we will have an ethics unit in the Bookkeeping Accelerator. And I don't know that I had considered this idea, because in the content they talk about just not talking to other people. But I don't know that there's anything about not leaving stuff out, right? Like, so, and especially since most of our students are people who work from home, like that's the whole point of of being a bookkeeper for a lot of people, is so that they can have the freedom to work from home, work from anywhere, and all of that. I know when I had my bookkeeping practice, I had a roommate, and my office was in the living room, and everything was out all the time. It never crossed my mind that she, or anybody that she, brought over,
New.
she could just, I mean, I had my client's checkbook. She could have just, she or, anybody, she could have just picked up my client's checkbook. And that's great.
Do I need to invest in a VPN because I'm doing a client's books? Is it better to establish a locker, a storage locker that is, how do you say, third party? Let's say I'm doing your books and I'm your accountant, but over here is where we're going to keep all of our forms and stuff. I'm going to let them be responsible for the everyday storage and keep. That's why I say the term, locker. Is it better that I do that? I think there are some platforms out there that specialize in that and also help you, meaning the bookkeeper or CPA, send emails automatically to, hey, make sure you send me your information. I'm going to do your 1099s, and they upload it to the locker and not to your desktop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all of the accountants that I have worked with have a secure drawer. My
Okay.
financial advisors, like they all have like a secure and like an online. And I don't know the technology. I mean, I just trust that they figured it out. Like they did their research and they picked the good one. I've used a couple of them for for those kinds of documents and things. So
Right. Let's not forget about what good books look like. Kind
yeah.
of remember when I talked about in the how in our CPA firm how we would flag checks that didn't meet the patterns. Typically a good set of books, right? You look at them, all the journals will have the same entries all the time. There's definitely patterns usually. And as a good bookkeeper, it was our job to, if you will, I don't know, it's such a dramatic word, but to flag or to notice them. And then the CPA who is assigned to that account, he would usually at least check over the bank rec, because that's the foundation of everything. And in there, you would highlight or just circle, and it was up to them what they did with it. Because ultimately, they would produce what they called it a check spread. I wish I could tell you more about that, but it was literally a piece of paper that would have any of the interesting transactions that occurred during the year that might have tax signature. That was, so either you do it, as you go along every month, you just do a little cursory check to tag those. And the other part of that I remember was because we always need the supporting documentation. So quite literally, that bank rec may have 1,000 checks, right? They all stay in the bank rec. That's it. But take out the one that, was like, make a copy of it, put it back in the bank rec. When you have a copy for the CPA to substantiate or put with the tax documentation, that was right. I think when it comes to subject matter expertise, I think it's important that a CPA, how do you say, a bookkeeper should understand the subject to a degree. It makes you more valuable if you can say you worked in a particular industry.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. I went to Scaling New Heights, an accounting conference this past year. And there was a guy there who had a T-shirt that said it said bookkeeping for painters. It was either bookkeeping for painters or bookkeeping for plumbers. I think it was bookkeeping for painters. And I was like, holy cow, like that is the most beautiful, like that's the most, now you have an in. So if you can niche down into one particular area and know all the ins and outs of that particular thing, you can now go out and you can cold call every single painter or every single plumber. You have now a reason to reach out to them. You can go to plumbing and painter conferences. You can, there is so much that you can do if you have a niche. It just so that's one of the things that Akadian is going to be focusing on in the next couple of years. It's not our immediate goal, but we're kind of stepping into it a little bit, is niche training for sure, because that just it's so valuable. Yeah. Well, this has been great. My mind is kind of blown now thinking about having that bookkeeping business in the living room where anybody could walk in, and it did not even occur to me until this conversation, and now I'm kind of kicking myself.
Yeah, we are in, I think, the high season of fraud, and know though that one of the powers of analytics that no one's talking about, because all they want to talk about is the large language models and chat GPT and how I can type it in and it talks to me.
Yeah.
Believe me, analytics have been involved in fraud. Analytics has been, think about your Fair Isaac score, your credit score. That's analytics forever. That's been going on. All they're doing now today is patching it up with nice words. But when it comes to auditing, when it comes to fraud detection, oh my, it's a lot easier now. All righty.
All right.
Well, again, thank you for your time. Okay.
It was good chatting with you.
Aloha.
Have a good one.
You
All right.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.